Jack Kennedy. I'm a captain at the Sheriff's Office, and I'm also the commander of the multi-agency violent crimes unit in Tuscaloosa County. So I wanted to meet with everyone today. We've had lots of inquiries concerning the baby death or crime that occurred yesterday. So yesterday at about 5 p.m., the Brookwood Police, along with most of our emergency response in the county, including the Tuscaloosa County Sheriff's Paramedic Unit, Brookwood Fire and Rescue, and North Star Ambulance, were all dispatched to a residence on Stone Ridge Court. This is a neighborhood within Brookwood city limits. Family there reported that a now to be determined to be 13-month-old infant had been found deceased in a vehicle, still strapped into the car seat. The violent crimes unit, of course, was requested and responded. Our investigation determined that the child had been in the sole care of his father all day at that residence. The father admitted to drinking at different times throughout the day and also admitted to leaving the residence at least one time to purchase more alcohol. The father reported that he believed that the child had been sleeping in his crib, but obviously had been left behind in a vehicle. Our initial investigation shows that we believe the child had been in the vehicle for an extended amount of time, multiple hours at least. The temperature yesterday was in the mid-90s. This vehicle was in full sun. Of course, the exact cause of death will be determined by the Alabama Department of Forensic Sciences Medical Examiner's Office. We consulted with the District Attorney's Office with all the evidence that we had last night, and that father was charged with manslaughter and he was committed to jail. I did make an error on the press release. I said under a Niles law, but it's actually manslaughter doesn't fall under a Niles law, but we have a standing bond order in Tuscaloosa County in our circuit, from the circuit court, for some offenses that we do not set bond at time of arrest. They're set at the initial appearance by the judges. So this was one of those cases. So he was committed to jail with no bond until his initial appearance for a judge to set the bond. And of course, I've identified the suspect as Logan Keith Tuning, and he was 30 years of age.
Can you kind of explain for those watching what manslaughter is, sort of the elements of it, and how it differs from murder?
Right. Yeah. So basically, in this case, or in most cases, you have two. Manslaughter is an unlawful killing due to a sudden heat of violence or passion, but that's not in this case. And then another way that a manslaughter can apply is if you engage in reckless behavior that results in the death of another. And it is confusing because there's also a reckless statute in the murder, but if you look into the case law, this is a question, and why we have such a good relationship with the District Attorney's Office is those have been defined by courts as different degrees of recklessness. But the manslaughter reckless is the statute that we apply after consultation with the District Attorney's Office, is that he engaged in reckless behavior, and anyway, that was ultimately the charge. As I said, the investigation is ongoing. We're still awaiting the full autopsy results. We have multiple items and things out for testing, forensic testing as always. And when we get all of those in there, there is a chance that these charges could be raised to a murder or felony murder. It's a possibility. But at this time, we went ahead and made the arrest for manslaughter. So.
Did Tuning appear drunk when you guys arrested him yesterday?
Different responding law enforcement personnel reported that he smelled of alcohol.
Was his blood alcohol level tested yesterday?
So that was seized with a search warrant, and that will be sent to the Department of Forensics as well. It's already been delivered, and we will be waiting those results.
When he left to go to the store, was he driving the vehicle in which the child was still strapped in?
Well, that's all under investigation because some of his movements were self-reported by him, and we have to confirm those. But that's the belief, yes. At least at some point he left with his child and came back home and did not bring the child inside.
In your press release, you noted that the temperatures yesterday were in the high 80s, low 90s. Mm-hmm. How quickly can that become dangerous in the closed environment of a car for a child?
It was apparent yesterday that that's what had occurred. That is also part of our investigation that we'll be working with the Department of Forensic Sciences. And this has become an issue that has occurred across our nation in the last several years with more frequency, and there are some resources out there, and we're looking into those, such as computer models or places that have already undergone testing and things like that to give us an idea. But again, that determination of death, medical death and manner of death will be determined at autopsy.
So at
And
this
your
point,
pres-
your investigation doesn't know the number of hours that he was in that car in direct sun?
We have a good idea, but we're not gonna report that until we know for certain,
In
until
your
we
press
confirm
release-
all this.
Sorry, in your press release, you stated that family found him. What family members found him?
His mother, well, let me take that back.
Is it grandmother?
It's the child's grandmother. The child's grandmother came over to check on them, and when she got there, they couldn't locate the child.
What prompted her to go check on him?
He was not responding to, the father was not responding to phone calls.
Was this out of routine for dad to be alone with the child all day?
I'm not sure. I mean, it was their home, and it was his child, and his wife was at work. I mean, so it doesn't appear to be out of the ordinary.
Was this their only child?
Yes.
Is he cooperating with authorities?
We interviewed him to some degree, but,
To clarify, when he told y'all, that he felt like the baby was still at the crib, did he mean the crib in the home?
yes.
At this point in your investigation, I know it's preliminary, but is it looking like it was an accident, or do you have reason to believe there was intent?
No, we don't, at this time, we don't have direct evidence of intent, but it's not an accident, because he engaged in reckless behavior. So his behavior was reckless that caused this death. So he did he did direct actions that led to the environment that caused his death. And that's what recklessness is.
How rare is this in Tuscaloosa County?
This is the first one that I've been involved with, we believe was caused by heat like this. So unfortunately, we do work quite a lot. We work a lot of infant mortality cases, and some of those are also criminal as well. But this is the first one in my 7 years that I've worked that's been the result of leaving a child in a car.
Are you allowed to release the name of the child?
I'm not going to, because that name will be forever on the internet, and I'm just not gonna do that right now for the family.
You
Can you
mentioned that
confirm
he
it was a
went and
little
started
boy?
drinking.
There's a little boy.
You mentioned that he started drinking that morning. Around what time did he start drinking?
Look, this is all part of the investigation, and we're having to confirm that some of these things are coming from his statements, and we have a lot of things out there. Again, this investigation is still at the initial stages. So
And that's
I don't like reporting things unless I have confirmation and I'm confident it's correct.
I just want to clarify, this is the first hot car death you guys have had this summer.
Yes, absolutely. So,
What's your message, Jack, to the public at large about keeping your children safe? And not all cars have the sensors yet.
well, in my opinion, you don't need a sensor. Again, I'm gonna fall back onto if you're in the care, custody, and control and are solely responsible for an infant, then you don't need to be involved in alcohol, controlled substances, working 36 hours without sleep, or any of those things, because all of that could be considered reckless behavior. And that's that. And again, depending on the outcome of some of these things that we have, there's a chance this could be elevated to felony murder. So that's going to be part of our ongoing investigation as well, just depending upon what we come up with.
Captain, has he shown any remorse at this point?
Yes.
Are you able to say where the mother was while the father
Mother was at work.
at work?
He has shown remorse?
Yes. It is a terrible thing. It's a terrible thing for all persons involved.
Captain, do you mind giving the opening statement one more time, please?